I was born and raised in Brazil until I was 9.5 years old.
Born in Brazil, she relocated to the U.S. at a young age.
I was actually going to school for graphic art. I was truly very excited for that.
With a clear pathway to adulthood.
The school told me that I couldn't go back because graphic arts was totally visual.
But then life intervened.
After that, my husband and I went to a food business and we purchased a restaurant for a while.
But she picked herself up, dusted herself off, and resumed her productive life.
Right after I got my GED, I pursued massage therapy school because I wanted to do something that I could do sighted or non-sighted.
She adjusted.
I worked at Elements Massage for a year, but ever since I got out of school, my main goal was to have my own practice.
And adjusted again.
We decided to develop an online store where we have baby products, baby clothing.
And again.
I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
The ups.
I'm actually free from that, thank God.
The downs.
Good morning, everyone. This is Fernanda, and I would like to share an Aira story that I had yesterday. I used Aira for many, many things, except for one task.
The ups.
That really reassured me that everything was fine, and I was able to conquer that huge fear for almost, 10 years.
And
she's like, I know, sweetie, but I do need you to do a pregnancy test. So I fired up Aira, and Agent Kyle comes up. I'm like, oh, I just need you to read this test for me. So he had me turn it around, and he's like, well,
meet Fernanda Silva.
Aira can help you in so many ways that you can even think of.
A persistent and driven individual.
I think the advice that I could give is never giving up, never letting no one put you down no matter what. Don't think you need to prove anything to others, but always prove to yourself that yes, you can. And if you need to show anyone that you can do something in life, that would be your own self.
Listen and hear about her trials and tribulations and how she has not only endured.
Anything's possible as long as you never give up and you're always striving for more.
But thrived.
Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson.
And I'm Pete Lane. On our podcast today, Fernanda Silva. Fernanda goes by Nanda. Good morning, Nanda. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. I met you through the Aira Explorers group, so you are an Aira Explorer. We'll be talking a little bit about that later. You were born in the country of Brazil. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing in Brazil and how you ended up in the States?
Of course. It will be a pleasure. So I was born and raised in Brazil until I was 9.5 years old. Where I'm from in Brazil is a very hot area. So we never have winters. We never, ever had winters. And what they called winter there were called spring here. So it was really, really nice weather. I was raised by my grandma, my brother and I, until I was 9.5. My mom came to America to try a new life. And when I was 9.5, she decided she wanted her kids back. And there was that separation now from our cousins and friends and schoolmates. So it was a very hard time for both of us, but it was also a new challenge. Definitely gave us something new to look forward. And we knew we were going to be reunited with our mother. That definitely comforted us a lot. We lived really close to the beach, so every time my brother would come home from school when I was still young and I wasn't going to school yet, we used to go to the beach every single day, which was really nice. That was our, playtime every day after school.
We do that in Minnesota here in the wintertime, but we call it ice fishing.
No, that's the beauty of Brazil. The beaches are really warm and we have huge waves, which is really nice.
Wow.
After a while, we did move to a different area where my grandma lived, and my mom left us with her and came to try a new life in the U.S. and brought us when I was 9.5. My brother was 11 at the time. Thank God we didn't get separated from each other because we were very close to each other, and we felt like the only things we had was each other since our parents did get a divorce when I was 5.
So yeah, he was your only connection from the past when you relocated to the States.
He was.
So you are blind currently. Were you blind at birth?
No, I wasn't blind at birth. I was actually blind at one eye at birth, the right eye, but I did have really good residual vision on my left eye. And at a given young age, which I don't remember, I was diagnosed with RP. In 2007, I actually had to remove my right eye due to a really bad infection that they couldn't cure. and they were afraid that it would spread and it would go to my left eye and I would become blind. So in 2009, I actually had a retina detachment and became totally blind anyway.
At what point in your life, in high
I
school?
was in high school, yes. I was going to a technical school and I was actually going to school for graphic arts. I was truly very excited for that.
Wow. Quite a departure then. You were doing something absolutely visual, and then all of a sudden the rug was pulled out from under you.
Exactly. And the school told me that I couldn't go back because graphic arts was totally visual. And so I couldn't finish high school.
Yeah, my occupation, I was a printer for high-end printing. I did art reprints, and I was always thankful I had my eyesight. And when I lost my eyesight, there wasn't an alternative in that field.
Yeah, very similar situation.
So where in the States did you relocate?
I'm in Massachusetts. I actually came to Massachusetts. My mom used to live here in Mass. 20 years here in Massachusetts now.
What a departure weather and climate-wise, though. Wow.
Truly. But I did arrive in July, so that helped.
It gave you a couple of months to acclimate, right?
It did.
So you're in your technical school, you're studying graphic arts. Your vision loss, was it sudden at the time?
It was.
What went through your head and how did you adapt?
Funny story. I actually was a little bit lost, but also I had to be strong because my father and my husband at the time, we were married for only a year. They thought that they could actually put me inside a bubble and protect me from everything. And I'm like, no, this is not what I want for myself. And I had to be really strong and speak up for myself and say, no, listen, I need this. I need the cane. I need to learn these skills. There will be times that I will be by myself. And my mom actually had a different reaction. She didn't know how to react. So she actually was a little hesitant to even come close to me for a while just because she didn't know how to react to the blindness and what could she do to help me. I guess she felt very helpless at that time.
So was there any schooling, education, or training that you got for your blindness?
I did. I went to the Carroll Center for the Blind, which was phenomenal at the time. The only thing is they had funding issues. They had shortened the training from 12 weeks to 6 weeks. So I had to learn everything that people usually took 12 weeks to learn in 6 weeks. I was able to manage it.
Not like you had a choice, right?
No. After that, my husband and I went to a food business and we purchased a restaurant for a while. Food business can actually take a lot out of you. It would drain you so much. So after 2.5 years of having that pizza shop, we actually sold it. And then after that, I went for my GED. And right after I got my GED, I pursued massage therapy school. And the reason why I chose massage therapy is because I wanted to do something that I could do sighted or non-sighted, that it wouldn't impact me in any way. If something happens and I can see again, at least I can have this skill. Nothing can take this skill away from me. Unlike graphic arts, that as soon as I became blind, I had to give that up.
Yeah. And you now own your own massage studio, and the name of that is the Blind Touch Massage?
That is correct. I have a home studio. I work from home, which is really nice.
When you decided to go to schooling to become a massage therapist, what type of alternative techniques did you utilize? What devices did you use? Were you using a computer, JAWS?
So for school, there was a lot of learning and helping the teachers out because they never had a blind student complete the course at that school. They had blind students go to that school, but they didn't finish. And so the school wasn't adapt for any technology at all. So I had the MCB come out, which is the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, and, show them a few technologies that I could use. And I did use a computer with JAWS at the time. I wasn't using a Mac at that time. And I had a friend of mine, he's a software engineer, so he helped me a lot. So he would take all the inaccessible files and things like that and make them accessible for me. We had to do soap notes after every client during the clinic. He was able to actually create a web page where I could just go in and fill out the form and it would automatically email it to the teacher. So we had to do some adaptations. I was able to use a Victor Reader Stream to record some notes, and I would also type notes on my computer, and of course the OCR scanner.
So you did use the PC with JAWS. Do you still use the Victor Reader Stream?
Not so much, but I do.
So I would imagine there's quite a bit of anatomy in your massage schooling.
Oh my God.
Did you
yes.
adapt the anatomy charts and things like that to any kind of a tactile format?
I was actually able to find a tactile anatomy muscle and a skeletal poster on Amazon. And also, my friend actually gave me a full life-size skeleton. And for the muscles and ligaments and joints and nerves, we would use either tape or Play-Doh to create the fibers of the muscle so I could understand which way the fibers are going and things
Cool.
like that.
Nanda, okay, a full life-size skeleton. You don't buy those at like Skeletons R Us. I mean, if someone searched my Google searches and the guy was looking up skeletons.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I used to leave it in front of the basement door, and one day my mom comes over. That did it.
You're going back to Brazil.
I remember reading the book about Dr. Jacob Balatin, who was a blind physician back in the late 1880s, and he adapted his charts on the wall with strings and threads and yarn and things like that to simulate all the muscles and the nerve patterns. So you did something similar. Very cool. So you graduated from your massage certification school, and did you immediately open up your home studio?
No, I did not. I worked at Elements Massage for a year.
And how did that go? Did you have to adapt any equipment or any techniques to work into that scenario?
No, it was actually, well, I did use a little bit of brailing, so I know very, very basic braille, but the little I knew, I was able to label a few things that I needed to label. But other than that, everything didn't really need much adaptation. Their software was really, really hard for me to use, so I would actually type my soap notes and I would give it to the secretaries and they would put it on the software because it was not accessible at all, which is mind body. And I tried calling them and working with them and the Carol Center to see if they could make it more accessible. But the investment that they have to put in, they didn't want to do that at that time.
And that's Elements?
Yes, I think most massage therapy places, they do use mind body. It's just an easy software for them.
Mm-hmm. Out of Elements, being that they're a national chain, I believe, what did you gather from them to decide to open your own business?
I decided to work actually at a place like Elements for a year just to gain more experience and to know all the different type of bodies that you can work with because they have a lot of different clients. And that really helped me to see which type of clientele I wanted to target and what type of modalities that I like the most and I wanted to do for my clients. So ever since I went to Elements, that was my main goal, is to see what I like the most, because over there you have to do all the modalities. You can't just choose, oh, I don't want to do hot stones, or I don't want to do sports. You have to because you're working for them. And that gave me, okay, I don't really enjoy this that much, so I'm actually going to not do this when I do it from my home. I was able to do that. But ever since, I got out of school, my main goal was to have my own practice.
So you've run a full business operation from your home. So you obviously have a website. I've seen your website.
Well, actually, that website is not done yet. I just have my bio there, but I do have to work on it. It is blindtouchmassage.com.
So who developed that? Have you been developing that yourself, or are you and your husband working together on it?
No, I actually had my friend who's the software engineer. He was the one who actually started developing that for me.
I think we all need this friend.
And he's a photographer too, and he's amazing at describing things to me, which I love. Really helped me out through school, I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure. Well, good. So how do you make appointments and things like that?
I use an app called Scheduling, where I can block the times that I don't want to work. And when someone's scheduled through the scheduling app, that time will be blocked, so I don't have to worry about it. Or people usually call me too.
So scheduling, it's an app for the iPhone or Android?
I don't know if it is for both. I know it is on the iPhone.
And it's accessible?
It is.
Yeah, good. We'll put a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, that's a good one. I hadn't heard of that one before.
How'd you come across that?
I was looking for an app that I could use for, that wouldn't be mind body because I couldn't use them. And I needed something. So I started researching on Google what else was there for massage therapy to use for schedule. And a bunch came up and scheduling was one of them.
So, Fernanda, you also have a business with your husband, do you not? An online baby supply business?
So we do. The funny thing is, I thought I couldn't have children, and I love kids. So my husband decided, okay, we need to do something so we can have an extra income. What can we do? And I was like, well, we can definitely go into the baby niche. And so we decided to develop an online store where we have baby products, baby clothing, accessory for moms, and things like that. We have a full store online. It's a Shopify store. We also have our products on eBay and Amazon. That website is babyfefe.com, babyfifi.com. F is in Frank E, F is in Frank E.
Fifi.
Fifi, that's one of my nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to this topic that you just alluded to. Jeff and I are really, really angry with you because we had scheduled an interview about 2 weeks ago. And lo and behold, the night before the interview, you contacted us and canceled.
Uh-oh.
Now, I want to know what your reason is, and it better be good.
Oh, trust me, I have a good reason for that. And I will go into Aira if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I ended up with some pelvic pain, had to call the hospital because I couldn't take it. And the nurse told me, I need you to do a pregnancy test. And I'm here yelling at this nurse, like, trust me, I'm not pregnant. I can't get pregnant. There's no way. I probably have a urinary tract infection. And I'm telling her everything that I could have. She's like, I know, sweetie, but I do need you to do a pregnancy test just to eliminate.
Gave you the sweetie business.
I'm assuring her that I'm not pregnant. I could guarantee her. So I found one, at home. It was lost somewhere because, I gave up. I'm like, I can't have kids anyways. It was even expired. I found out later. So I take the test. There's no one home. And I had to call the nurse back to tell her that I'm not pregnant. And so I fired up Aira, and poor Agent Kyle, comes up. Like, how may I help you? I'm like, I just need you to read this test for me. So he had me turn it around and he had me get the phone up close to it. And he's like, well, congratulations, future mommy.
Oh, wow.
Aww. It's
Future
the first
mommy.
Aira baby.
And it's my first Aira baby.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that is the reason why I had to reschedule that call.
Now, I have a question for you. Is Fifi part of the name list?
For the baby?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Fifi Jr.
Fifi Jr.
That's awesome news.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a good excuse because I can never use that excuse.
He's tried,
to get out
believe me.
something.
Oh, really? Oh, he has, huh? I see.
Because I know I can't get pregnant.
Right. I was having morning
Oh,
sickness.
boy.
I couldn't get to
Wow.
the call.
And you did say you and your husband have been trying for a number of years.
10.5 years.
Congratulations again. That's outstanding. So you've had a follow-up appointment and is all well so far?
It is. We did an ultrasound. Everything's fine. The baby's heartbeat's at 119 beats per minute as of
My
right now.
goodness.
Baby's fine. Yeah, I know.
Do you know the sex of the baby?
No, it's too young for that.
You think you're going to want to know beforehand? Or you're going to leave it a surprise?
Oh, I definitely want to know. I'm a very curious person.
When the baby comes, you can always go to babyfifi.com and order all sorts of baby goods and supplies. Just a note, check the show notes.
Oh, I will.
So in your daily business and running businesses like you're doing, you said you used to use the PC, now you're using the Mac. What do you find about the Apple devices that you like?
Well, first of all, my computer doesn't freeze at all points. I felt like all the time I would be doing something with Jaws and all of a sudden like unresponsive. What's going on here? And computer froze and I had to shut down and restart all over again. And that was a little frustrating. So that was one of the reasons why I switched to the Mac and started learning how to use VoiceOver on a Mac. And I love how I can use the trackpad for a few things. And the gestures are very similar to the ones that you do on the iPhone.
And you're self-taught?
Yes.
Oh, good for you.
I also taught myself how to use VoiceOver on the phone. And I taught for a hobby, I love teaching people how to use that.
It's funny. I'm a Mac user for 4 years now, and I never have really delved into the gestures on the trackpad. I'm sure it would be something familiar, like you said, very similar to the VoiceOver gestures on the phone.
It is.
Nanda, what are your favorite apps on your iPhone?
Ooh, let me see. I love seeing AI. Oh my God, I just love that app. And because of that, I don't know if I should say this, but I will. If you guys think
The
it's not
KNFB reader,
appropriate, you
right?
guys can remove it. Yes, I can't believe I pay $100 for KNFB.
You're not the first.
After I got CNA, I was like, no way that I spent $100 on this app.
In defense of KNFB Reader, though, if you're in school and you have like 10 documents and you want to go into batch mode and save it to all sorts of different places where you might utilize it and other apps and stuff, KNFB Reader does still have a spot for, I would call it high production OCR, optical character recognition.
Their multi-page feature,
and
right?
I think they're trying to improve it.
And I suspect that their research over the years, which finally led to the development and the release of KNFB Reader, has probably helped people like Microsoft and other developers in terms of the technological advances. I think they've probably paved the way a little bit.
Yes. Another app that I do love is Just Press Record. Oh my God, I love that app, especially because I can have it on my Apple Watch too, and I can discreetly record things.
Are you recording us right now?
No.
You record your massage sessions?
No, I don't. But, like when I'm at church or somewhere and I want to record something, I could just fire up the app on my watch. I don't even have to pull up my phone and just press record.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of people do like using Just Press Record because that's all you do. I mean, the title says it all. You just hit the button, you record it, it saves it, you can access it later.
And the cool thing about it, it also doesn't do a 100% of a job, but it does write everything you say out. So, which is really nice too. If you don't want to listen to the message, you can actually
the transcription.
It does transcribe it for you. So if you're just recording like someone's phone number or something really quick, you don't even have to listen to it, which I really like.
What else do you use your Apple Watch for?
Oh, I do love the fitness apps on my watch for the gym. So I love how it tracks my steps and things like that, my workouts. I use it a lot for that. The breathing app, coming down after a nice day. I love that app too. That comes built in. I do like the glances of Instagram on it. So I don't have to, fire up Instagram all the time. I love glancing on Instagram.
Can you explain Instagram?
On the watch?
Yeah.
Or in general?
Well, kind of in general, because some apps people don't use on the iPhone or their Android devices because it's a lot of pictures. How do you utilize Instagram? You said a glance.
So what it does is it won't let you see everyone's post, but it does let you see, a few of them on the watch. You can either, I think, you cannot comment, but I know you can like or just ignore it. My friends, they do a decent job of putting a nice description on their photos.
Oh, okay.
So I can, know what that is. I do use Instagram for my online baby Fifi store business.
So it gives you another way to interface or interact with others.
It does.
Nanda, you mentioned Aira told you were pregnant. What led you to Aira?
So what led me to Aira? I was actually on Facebook scrolling one day, and I saw a post from Marty Watt saying, Aira is coming to Massachusetts. Contact me if you would like a free month. And I emailed him, and I was able to get a free month. And I loved the service, and I continued for a while. I had to stop. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. I'm actually free from that, thank God.
Another good story.
So I got back into Aira March of this year.
Oh, wow. How do you find Aira on a daily basis, weekly basis? What do you use it for mostly?
I love Aira for many, many reasons. I use it more than I think. Like some things you're just like, oh, I'm not going to use Aira for this. And you're like, well, I'll fire up Aira. And it's just so helpful. Like I use it for shopping, grocery shopping. I use it for sorting things around the house. My husband loves letting things expire. And I'm like, honey, is this expired? He's like, I don't think so. I don't trust him with that anymore. So I fire up Aira to do a lot of that. Sort my mail, picking up things around the house that I dropped. Sometimes I'll drop like a pill or something. I'm like, oh, great. I don't have to play the where is it game anymore. I can just fire up Aira. Going out with friends, taking pictures. I used Aira at a friend's wedding. That was so amazing. I loved it so much. I was able to take pictures of the bride coming down the aisle, and I was able to have the full experience of the wedding. I used it on my sister's graduation, which was really phenomenal.
That makes me think that here you were in a church where you have to be quiet because the procession's going on, and yet in the privacy of your own ear, you could have the description happening.
Exactly. which was so fun. It was amazing. And I can't wait for the Horizon glasses, to be honest.
Yeah, that's coming next month.
Which will be coming soon, yes. So, Fernanda, if I could migrate into another issue, you used Aira for a very, very special purpose recently, which you shared with our Aira Explorer WhatsApp group.
Good morning, everyone. This is Fernanda, and I would like to share an Aira story that I had yesterday. I used Aira for many, many things, except for one task, which was walking. And there is a huge reason behind that. When I was young, I was kidnapped, and I lived with this fear forever. And yesterday, I called my husband. He was at work, and I told him, I think I'm going to conquer my fear. And since he's seen me using Aira for other tasks, he told me just grab your Aira glasses and go. You have to fight this fear. And so I did. And it was the most amazing walk of my life. I always walked with my cane, but I always had to have someone beside me, a friend, a relative. And just being able to do it on my own was just... I'm sorry, everyone. It was just so emotional to be able to conquer that fear that I had for so many years after being kidnapped at a young age. I always lived with that fear that something would happen if I tried to go out by myself again. And I not just only conquered my fear, I was able to prove to myself that it's not like that. It was very hard. I did not tell my agent anything about it. I just told her I was going out for a walk. And it was amazing. I'm so grateful for this service. Very, very grateful. I'm so grateful for this group. It is very welcoming and very supportive. Thank you, everyone, and I wish everyone a great day.
Obviously, Nanda, that was a very, very moving experience for you. Why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Sure. So when I was in middle school, unfortunately, I had to go through a really traumatic situation and very unexpected. I was kidnapped, and it was horrible. The experience was horrible. And because of that, I was really afraid to go out by myself. When I was still sighted, I would go out by myself, but like I would walk 2 steps forward, look back, 2 steps forward, look back. And when I became totally blind, even though I have great mobility skills with my cane, I didn't want to go out by myself. So I would only go out if I had a friend or my husband or someone with me, because now I couldn't look and see if there was someone following me or something like that. And I couldn't just run like I could when I was still sighted. And so I decided to not go out by myself for a very, very long time, for many, many years. And one day I'm sitting here at my home. It was a beautiful and bright sunny day outside. And I called my husband and I said, I think I'm going to go out. And he's like, but you're home alone. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to use Aira. So I think everything's going to be all right. He's like, are you sure? And I actually went down the stairs and fear took over me and I ran back upstairs and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So a few days went by and I, talking to myself like, yes, you can do this. I'm reassuring myself that I could do it. And I tried again and I fired up Aira. And before I even went down the stairs, I told the Aira agent, listen, I'm going out for a nice walk. It's a beautiful day. I would like to know if you can help me. And she's like, yes, of course, I can definitely help you with that. And I'm like, all right, so we're going for a nice walk. And in my mind, I'm like, I hope I don't lose service. I hope I don't lose connection. I hope I can have her at all times. And thank God I did. And I was able to go for a nice walk. I was able to go to walk around the stadium that we have here. So I was able to walk there, go for a nice walk around the stadium. And then I was able to go to one of the local bus stops where I would be taking a bus to go to the local gym, the YMCA here. And I was able to walk back home and I felt that I wasn't alone. I felt very confident. I felt that I had someone with me at all times, and that really comforted me and reassured me that everything was fine. And I was able to conquer that huge fear for almost, 10 years that I hadn't gone out to walk by myself.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you find yourself turning your head left, right, backwards and asking the agent to tell you if anything was nearby?
No, I actually didn't. The whole time, I'm telling myself, you're not alone, everything's okay.
Right.
I'm reassuring myself that everything was okay, and I didn't want to have to do that. So I was trying to reassure myself that everything was fine.
Have you gone out on walks since then?
I have. I feel like the more that I go out, the more that this fear actually goes away. So it's really helping me. And Aira's been really helpful with this.
What a liberating experience.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, not that Aira needs to invent a rear view mirror for their glasses, but
Right.
Oh, good idea.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that was traumatic, but I think our listeners will benefit from hearing that. Not just knowing what Aira can do in extreme situations, but knowing how you were able to move past that and get through that fear that's been haunting you for years.
That is so true. And I hope it can definitely be inspiring for many Aira users. There's so much that we can do with Aira that sometimes we don't even think, oh, what can I do with this service? Or how is this service going to help? Aira can help you in so many ways that you can even think of.
Fernanda, you have had an amazing life. Born in Brazil, you immigrated to the United States. You've been through all kinds of emotional and traumatic incidences throughout your life. Can you offer any advice for someone who has recently lost their sight and is moving through the transition into blindness? What advice would you give them based on your experiences throughout life?
I think the advice that I could give is never giving up, never letting no one put you down, no matter what. Always prove to yourself. Don't think you need to prove anything to others, but always prove to yourself that yes, you can. And if you need to show anyone that you can do something in life, that would be your own self. And anything's possible as long as you never give up and you're always striving for more. Anything is possible in life. I don't think blindness is an obstacle. I think blindness is just a different way to view life.
Very well put.
I think that goes in general for anybody, that is new to blindness. They haven't experienced it yet, so it's going to be a catastrophic experience, they imagine. And then I think by hearing it from people who have journeyed through blindness and succeed on a level of acceptance and all that, it's really neat to have role models or mentors or anything like that, someone who has done it before. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
We're speaking with Fernanda Silva. Fernanda currently owns a home massage studio called Blind Touch Massage. And while the website is not yet fully developed, you can find her biographical information at www.blindtouchmassage.com. You can contact her if you're in the Watertown, Massachusetts area. She also, along with her husband, runs an online baby supply business, and you can find that at www.babyfifi.com. That's FEFE.com. A very dynamic individual who has a world of experiences which have resulted in a well-rounded and very happy and very pleasurable individual. Fernanda, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on Blind Abilities and chatting with Jeff and me.
Now introducing Aira Horizon Smart Glasses.
Thank you. I actually would like to finish up with a nice little story that happened throughout the weekend. We were actually at some friend's house, and when we arrived there, our friends had guests, and the guests had a little month-old baby. And after going, oh, what a cute baby, I asked the baby's name, and the lady's like, oh, her name's Chloe. And my husband pulled me close, and he whispered, hey, Chloe, identify. I couldn't help it.
Hey, Chloe, identify.
I see a CVS pharmacy bottle. It says warfarin sodium tablet. Take one tablet every day.
Thanks, Chloe.
Horizon. Next generation smart glasses from Aira.
Because I've been telling him about the Horizon. I've been telling him so many things. I'm like, I don't think he's paying attention to me. So when he said that, I thought it was the funniest and cutest thing ever.
That was great. Those who don't know, Chloe is the name of the virtual assistant that Aira will be deploying in the near future, hopefully, for the artificial intelligence aspect of the Aira service. Chloe.
So your husband does listen to you.
He does.
Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for sharing.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
When is the due date, by the way?
January 13th.
There you go.
Great. Would you come back on and talk with us after the big day?
Are you sure you're going to want a baby crying?
Hey.
If it's yours.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. I'm definitely reading a lot of blind mothers, watching a lot of videos. I'm reading a lot on Google and a lot of blind mother podcasts to help me out. So.
Oh, that's great.
Well, once again, thank you so much, Nanda, for speaking with us. Jeffrey, why don't you give them some information on how they can find our podcast?
Sure thing, Pete. For more podcasts with the blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download the free Blind Abilities app from the App Store and the Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And you can enable the Blind Abilities skill on your Amazon device just by saying, enable Blind Abilities.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for listening, and have a great day. Hi folks, just an update after the interview. One of the tasks which she undertook following her transition to blindness was to learn to play the organ. This is Fernanda playing the organ in her church. And how could she forget to mention Baby, her pet cockatiel? The song located at the beginning of the podcast is entitled Figlia Linda and is performed by Teresa Lucero. This song had particular significance to Fernanda during her youth in Brazil when she was separated from her mother. Fernanda has kindly translated the lyrics, and we'll include that translation in the show notes to this podcast. Once you read them, you'll understand why. An update on her pregnancy. As of today, June 23rd, 2018, Fernanda is 9 weeks along, and future mommy and the baby are doing well. A special thanks to Chichao for his outstanding piano music. You can follow him on Twitter at L Chichao. Finally, on behalf of Jeff Thompson and myself, thank you all for listening, and have a great day.